There we go. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a racing VTuber and artist, and today I will be working on some comics. This comic specifically. We got a couple more panels to do the line art for on this page. I'm hoping to find some way to use all 3D environments for the backgrounds. Might not come to fruition, we might have to go back and do it. Also, I will mention that I will partly not be logged in today because I got fucking Nimmy Nightmare's debut picture in picture on my off monitor. I've got her yapping on my ear just while I'm doing this. So my own quality. It's going to be an interesting experience for me. I'm not used to talking while hearing stuff in the background talking, right? I don't know. I didn't know what to expect for it, but it seems like she's pretty happy with everything. So that's good. I'm glad that she's having a good debut. Hang on, I might actually mute it. I need to. This is unlivable. I don't have the kind of multi-thread GPU that lets me focus on two people talking at once. And of course, I count among the number of people. I feel like that's always been a bit of a cheat. I feel like you should be allowed to talk without having to think. I mean, some people do that, but that's more of like a metaphorical thing. Let's just put some music in the background. There we go. Yeah, I've got her monitored on the corner of my peripheral vision. If she does some strange, outlandish bit, I will know. I will be up to date. Anyway. Oh yeah, last we left off, this guy was about to get punched in the face while holding a spoon, which is not a particularly dignified ending. But it's alright, he's gonna... This next panel's gonna show that he's fine. I do think that what I should do is probably focus on the guy here, because he's kind of like knocked down back there at the bottom. So I don't know. Maybe... Hang on. I don't really have a whole lot of experience drawing like hair that's a middle part like this. Especially when it's like shaggy like that. There we go. I do wish middle part hairlines didn't look as awful as they did. Like, it feels like it would be a pretty serviceable, how would you say, hairstyle if it wasn't for the fact that it also made you look like kind of a dork. I am also going to include some continuity with the spoon down here. I don't know, how feasible is it? It's probably not very feasible, but how feasible is it to beat the crap out of someone with a spoon? Is that something that we've performed scientific research into? Let's see. Okay, that's just gonna bend inward like this. There we go. I think that looks alright. I'm just gonna need to be aware of any tangents so it doesn't look like it's just one solid mass. I guess I could probably add another little thingamabob here. I do think that in terms of having just a communicating that a lot of damage has been dealt very quickly in a very short amount of time. Nothing's quite got anything on the smoky bump on the head. I don't know. It's just something that communicates a lot of a lot of impactful damage without really demonstrating a lot of like physical harm. There we go. And I'm gonna keep the bent spoon right here. There we go. But yeah, that's also why I'm not particularly expecting company today. I am... like, even I'm tuned into this debut. Right now, as we speak. I see her flapping her cute little ears on the friggin' side monitor. In a way, it's kind of a relief. You know? It's just me filling up the dead air. I don't know, there's something nostalgic about doing this. Rice beats all. Jupiter! My most loyal soldier! Sorry, boss. No worries, no worries. It's always good to have company. Reflection schmevection. I'm ready to yap to an audience anytime. Remember that? Okay, have you ever heard of that story? Right, like I don't remember if it's supposed to be like a playground story or anything like that, but there was a story that I remember hearing a lot as a kid. It's supposed to be like a mock horror story, where the bit is that like, you know, this guy gets cursed or something, or he does something to anger somebody. I do think it's a curse though. And what ends up happening is that every day he wakes up with like very small, tiny bruises. And one day he wakes up in the middle of the night and he sees that some kind of weird, perverse, I suppose, figure is using a spoon to slowly smack him around a little bit. And it's obviously not lethal, right? It's very difficult to kill someone with a spoon on purpose. It feels like, actually. I don't know. I personally think it would be easier to kill someone by accident with a spoon than on purpose with a spoon. It's just not a particularly menacing kind of utensil, you know? Very, very, very soft shaped. She's got a fucking plush? This is crazy. Okay, and then we're gonna have a pose that I really like to do with hands. Maybe you try to give a particularly terrible lobotomy? That is interesting. Like, I don't know. I guess that is true. I mean, they used ice picks for a while, and that seemed to... Well, I wouldn't call it I wouldn't say worked, but it definitely did what it was supposed to. God. There's two things that I hate that I never want to, like... I used to listen to this podcast about American history, and the two things that I never want to listen to again are the episodes they did on dentistry and the ones that they did on lobotomy. Both of them were just really... quite a lot to take in. I have already forgotten what the arm patterns look like for this guy. I should just make a... Hang on. I know precisely what I should do. What I should do is I should get rid of this, and then I should make the patterns later on independently and just use that as a texture. That's a smart thing to do. Honestly, they don't even look that good in the line art. I don't think they're going to help very much. Man, I gave this guy some insane kind of arm width and breadth. For some reason, watched that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest spin-off show, and besides lobotomy going on, that shit was something. I don't remember much about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Hang on, let me pull up the Wikipedia summary for that. %93% on Rotten Tomatoes, main movie. What about the... Hang on, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Play, film, okay. Psychology, comedy, drama, originally announced. Incarcerated for... Oh. Oh. Huh. Okay. Oh, that's pretty heavy. Okay. Surprise lesbianism? One guy, if I recall correctly, got high as hell and asked a scared and also high surgeon to remove his limbs or something like that. Oh. Yeah, I might need to take a closer look at this summary at some other point. Unrelated to the lesbianism. Reception. The Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa cited Cuckoo's Nest as one of his 100 favorite films. Oh, good for him. Hang on. TV show. Ratchet is an American psychology thriller television series created by Evan Romansky, a prequel to Milo Forman's 1975 film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Oh, I see. Hang on. Ratchet, Rotten Tomatoes. 62 out of 100. That is... not... That doesn't seem particularly great. You're right. Alright, there we go. Now we've removed those, and actually there's a couple of lines, extra lines here. Score sounds appropriate. Yeah, that sounds about right for a... Let's see here. Ratchet was made in 2020, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was made, I'm guessing the 70s? 1975. Whew. Yeah, no, that about tracks for a... prequel to a television series, probably streamed digitally. That is for... Actually, are there even original network shows anymore? It just feels like nowadays everything drops on some streaming service or another. It's on Hulu, it's on GB, it's on friggin'... I don't know who it's supposed to be for. Surely not fans of the movie. Maybe American Horror Story fans or something like that? I have not watched American Horror Stories. I had some friends in high school who were super big fans of American Horror Story. I never got into it personally. I didn't give a shit about any of that. And also, I was really scared of horror stuff. Okay, this would be the rib cage. This would be the abdomen. Okay, maybe we move like this. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's been a while since there has been like a really influential horror TV show. Like I feel like the one that I heard people be the most mentally ill about. Well, actually, no. I don't watch a lot of horror television to begin with, so maybe I'm just out of the loop. I think they had like a show literally called The Terror, where people were pretty big fans of that. So you know, I would be so shocked if a show called The Terror wasn't the horror of the horror genre. In this day and age, who knows who what will get a prequel spin-off next? That's right. It could be you. It could be me. It could even be. Uh, Actually, I don't know. I feel like I don't have the marketing sense. I can't dumb myself down enough to like put myself in the shoes of like a marketing executive that is looking to pitch a television series that will hopefully not get canceled within the next 15 weeks. I don't care to do that to myself. Hmm. Wikipediaing it. The Terror seems to pick a new story each season. Season 2 haunts an intermittent camp. Huh. Yeah, no, the other arm wouldn't show up there. I will, however, add like a streak of blood or something here. Or maybe it just kind of implies that his head got pushed into the dirt. I think that might be a better one. Season 1 is on the ICCs, and Season 3 is a psychiatric hospital to bring the thing back to lobotomies and nurses. Man, it feels like every other year we put the psychiatric ward on the high shelf and be like, all right, that's it, horror writers, you don't get to use this for a while, and then you know time passes and you're like, all right, we can put the psychiatric ward back down from the top shelf, and then immediately somebody squanders the premise. Maybe there are children there. Maybe they don't do lobotomies. Who knows? Maybe they are. Like, this happened with that game Outlast. Are they still making fucking Outlast games? I remember watching Outlast. I remember I used to do this thing with my friends in high school. They might have the literal devil in the hospital, though. Oof. Also, yeah, this leg is a little high up. Let me bring that down. And actually, what we could do is we could just like put this further out. And then just rotate this part. When are they going to be making Outcast games? That's right. I want to play as Andre 3000. I'm going to buy Baldur's Gate 3 and play an in-character playthrough as Andre 3000. Gonna drop bombs over Baldur there. Now, think about this still isn't quite right. Hang on. Maybe flipping the page will help. I was so scared. Okay, so the good news is that I was so scared that this would look unreadable if I flipped the page. But thankfully, I just need to fix up that elbow there. The elbow is the only thing that looks weird. But yeah, I remember that there were like the Outlast trials or something like that, which might have been some kind of horror game. But yeah, the most recent Outlast game is a multiplayer one, a co-op with your buds for matches against AI. Yeah, like the Outlast trials or something like that. Yeah. I remember because I remember seeing some of the Hololive talents play through that, or play rounds of that. And then just stretch this out a little bit. Yeah, the bud looks a little weird here, though. Correction, Outlast games. Mandela did a little. Yeah. You were so fixated on the idea of Andre 3000's epic platformer adventure that it kind of, you just kind of Mandela it affected yourself. All right, let's flip it back over. I think we're good here. Outcast was a 1999 Infogames action adventure game. Huh. How did that do? You know, in terms of influence on the future. Hang on, let me get this. Let me get the Wikipedia page on this thing pulled up. Outcast 1999. Miss Jackson blinders on. Oof, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I could kind of rock with this, actually. Hang on. This screenshot from the Wikipedia page is kind of speaking to me a little bit. Is this thing on GOG.com? Can we GOGify this? Hang on. Open image in new tab. Why can I not drag this into my... Hang on. Copy image, file, create new from clipboard. Like, check this out. This is I'm kind of into this. Just off the cuff. Critically acclaimed and named the Adventure Game of the Year by GameSpot in 1999. Oh, yeah, here we go. Outcast was re-released via digital distribution on GOG. In 2014, Outcast was remastered as Outcast 1.1, after the original developers reacquired the franchise intellectual property. A remake titled Outcast Second Contact was released for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One in 2017. Outcast: A New Beginning was released for Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X in 2024. I had no idea that this was a thing. Pause. What? Hang on. New from clip. No, that's the same image. Let's try that again. New from clipboard. There we go. That's nuts. It's crazy how you can just live your entire life without knowing that something exists. The main population of Adelpha are a bipedal species called the Talon. Their technology is comparable to those of ancient China or medieval Europe. However, they have psychic abilities that vary depending on each Talon's essence. Fuck yeah. Hang on. Let me look this thing up on Steam. Outcast. Warhammer: A New Beginning. Outcast Second Contact. I think that's a remake. Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah. It sparked the open world action adventure genre. Is that true? Hang on. Release, reception, critical reviews, legacy, and sequel. That's mostly the story behind the new one. Yeah, we're learning something new here. I would have never known this thing was existed. I will say that based on the cover art, I was expecting the protagonist to be I don't know. I expected him to be browner than he actually was. I guess that's on me for setting myself up for disappointment. God. All right. Back to focus up. Back to work. Love the mounted laser combat going on with the cover. That is really good. It is kind of giving some Dune Arrakis Sand Planet kind of vibes. I'm a fan of that. Something that I've wanted to try doing a little bit more recently is emphasizing the outlines a little more. Just going full thickness on these suckers. What I might just do is actually finish drawing the outline first, and then move it up, and then add the details. Pardon me. Hang on, let me actually pull up the GOG.com page. Or wait, no, we don't need to do that. My curiosity has been sated. Delaying for too much is only going to cause further damage to our progress. There is a time for tangents and there is a time to embark on investigation, but I think we pretty much plumbed the depths of whatever it is that we're looking at here. There we go. Actually, I should finish drawing the details while I'm on the original part first. There we go. But yeah, you do have to love some rando on a horse or some other strange mountable creature? Question mark? I don't know if that's a technical term. But you do have to love it whenever a dude is on a horse or some other rideable creature, and all of a sudden they have a laser musket or whatever. There we go. What's your ideal alien fantasy mount? Feeling foul, massive slug, equine, etc.? Honestly, I've always kind of really liked the chocobos from Final Fantasy. I do like the idea of just having a big, friendly-looking bird. Like, you know how you sometimes see videos of, like, kids cuddling up to, like, a chicken or something, and the chicken is, like, very affectionate, you know, very broody. It kind of just, like, leans into their scritches. Imagine that, but like with a much bigger bird. Like imagine if cassowary had the mental faculties for empathy, which they currently do not. or the mental faculties to feel something other than deranged bloodlust, which is what they always feel. Cassowaries in general are just kind of scary. What if a cassowary didn't want to hurt you? Is my kind of ideal thing. Because hooves, you can get crushed under those very easily. Not a fan of that. And I'm not particularly a fan of the idea of like moisture that comes with like a slug or anything. So I'm thinking feathers is a nice middle ground. A giant saddle-ready secretary bird is probably very nice in combat. That's what I'm saying, right? Secretary birds, all the stomping power of a hoof, zero, but they have that shit with safety on. They're not gonna start doing that just for funsies. It's not like it's not a byproduct of just how they're built and distributed, like how horses are. A horse doesn't always mean to trample or kill things underfoot. It just kind of happens. They're big animals, and they're not very bright. That's kind of how it goes. Now, a secretary bird, on the other hand, that thing is a trained killer. That thing, you literally trained killer. Like, have you seen those videos of like zookeepers releasing rubber snakes into the secretary bird enclosure just to make sure that they know how to attack it, or like how it enriches them? Those things are literal, actual trained murderous birds, and yet they choose to not let that bloodlust define them. For the most part, I can't be sure. I'm not too caught up on like cassowary lore. Get a little gliding in between your galloping, depending on the beastie. That's true, actually. Like if you had a pretty big albatross or something, right? I could see that being comfortable to glide on. That at least you wouldn't, if you accidentally fall off a hill, you wouldn't look like a dumbass just falling with your horse like you normally would. Like, have you seen in cowboy movies how dumb the guy looks when he gets caught by the old frontier Tokyo drift, and he accidentally veers off the side of the cliff and he falls down, horse and all? He looks like a goofball. He looks corny as hell. Now, at least with the bird, you have a chance of survival after said goofiness, right? I feel like your chances are vastly improved when you have like a bird, like if you have a bird at least like desperately flapping its wings trying to keep one of you alive. Actually, let me check something real quick. What sleeve did I have the little symbol on for this one? Yeah, damn, that Nimi Nightmare person is really coming out swinging. That's a bunch of merch already. She's been fucking prepared for this shit. Okay, it was the right-hand sleeve. Okay, how does it look with the other guy on the bottom? I might make Roland just a tiny bit smaller. I do also think it'd be really cute because, again, I want to make it obvious that he's supposed to be like much younger than he currently is in these pictures, so I think making him tiny like this is a really good way to indicate that. There's two easy ways to make somebody look younger than they should be. One is to round out their features to make them look less angular. That usually makes them look younger, and the other thing is to just make them tiny. Alright, we can bump this other guy up to full opacity again. And actually, I'm going to add a boot print right here. Should I tuck the shirt into the pants back here? I think I should. I do remember I do have like a very distinct memory of being in high school, and I kept hearing about this thing called like the French tuck, right? And it's this thing where you only tuck you tuck your shirt into your pants properly, and then you only take out the kind of front half of the shirt, leave the back part more or less intact in there. And usually you're supposed to wear a coat or jacket over it as well, but I didn't have that good of a fashion sense. In any case, I remember doing that a couple of times, and it actually does look very good if you do it correctly. Alright, I think we're done with this panel. I love drawing little pouts like this. It's such a... It's not a happy expression, but it is one that is just very pleasant to draw. It's a very soft expression, I should say. God, it really is also very funny because, you know, in this kind of time period, he does have these bags under his eyes from just being exhausted all the time. But like once you see him in the current time, he actually doesn't have those anymore. Brother caught up on his sleep debt as his time skip redesign. God, I wish that were me. I feel like I've been getting pretty good about my sleep debt, though. I feel like I've been making more efforts toward ensuring a healthy sleeping schedule for myself, and it's been feeling good. I have been not necessarily feeling better rested, but I don't feel as tired as I used to, if that makes sense. So it's not like I wake up in the morning being like, so refreshing, right? It's more like, wow, I don't feel like shit midway through the day. I need a nap. Sometimes I still nap though. So you know, you get a couple in every now and again. There we go. God, this is something that I kind of missed doing during Hawk Sterling. I had to use a lot more body language to communicate emotions, but nobody's wearing a helmet in this stupid ass comic. I can go as hog wild with them as I please. I do feel like expressions are one of my strong points. I need to find ways to improve my ability to use storytelling in my conventional illustrations. Because I feel like I'm at my strongest when I'm trying to tell a story because I grew up very comics brained. I've been wanting to make comics since forever, right? So I feel like a lot of my strength comes from including action in drawings rather than just making it kind of like very generic action. Like, I can't do like the generic anime girl smile, even though like every other artist who is into VTubers can do that pretty successfully. But I know how to like make a, you know, like an expression of like, oh boy, like this. It's at times like this when I feel like I'm at my strongest. Okay, you know, you wouldn't be able to see that many fingers on this one. But yeah, all things considered, today's been a pretty good day. No, I feel like usually on Fridays I feel like either I'm looking forward to the weekend too much to properly. Pardon me. I'm looking too much to the weekend. I'm looking forward to the weekend too much to really like take advantage of it properly. I don't know. Maybe that's something I should try to do on Fridays. Then, you know, give myself something to look forward to. Why? Took a quick glance over at the Nimi debut. Why does she have the Witcher guy jump scaring us? You know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. Gerald of Rivia, you're like a brother to me. I've never played a Witcher game. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people talk good stuff about the Witcher games, so I feel like I should try to experience those at some point, but I have no idea when that's going to be particularly. There we go. Okay, the collar is going to go over here. Actually, Jupiter, what would be your ideal kind of sci-fi mount? Circling back to that topic. Do you have a particular preference in mind? I don't know. There is something very romantic about a horse, but it's a lot like a motorcycle. Like, I don't feel like everybody could ride a horse, but I feel like most people could probably ride a chocobo. Simplify, adjust line width. Yeah, I think that's probably our best bet. I'm gonna make this guy super fucking wide. I might actually get rid of the text real quick. Actually, you know what? I think my idea for like the bird type mount could have some critique in the fact that birds are not. I feel like birds are less amphibious than horses, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I could bring a horse to water, and I could make it swim easily by asking it to go into the water. But I feel like birds would not. I don't know. Like with the downiness of the bird, I guess it would be like a sort of duck-like bird wouldn't really cause much issue. Like, the water would literally go off their back, as is known in the colloquialism. So yeah, maybe it would have to be some kind of duck hybrid in order for it to work properly. I don't know. The thing is then that gets me thinking about like 7-foot tall geese, and that's like nightmare territory. I would hate that. That thing it has all the temperament of a cassowary, and the only thing that's stopping it back from being a national menace is the fact that it's so small that it can probably be easily manhandled by one person. Or maybe a small team. I like that this dude's hair is just like a big scruffy undercut. There we go. And again, I think it's good to show that this is what the jacket is supposed to fit like. You know, assuming whoever was wearing it was also shirtless at the time. This was the kind of jacket that had 2 pockets, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, then over here. Perfect. I love that people in V server are also sending updates for the debut from the friggin' Northern Lion librarian guy. I knew that account was particularly on a watch list after Fauna's graduation. So it's good to know that they seem to be reveling in the new... in the new debut. Whenever I give characters like this sort of pant archetype, where it's like big pants held over by the belt, I can't help but wonder if I'm making them look too much like the shirtless one from Animaniacs. The shirtless one with pants, I should clarify. The other one is there's 2 shirtless ones and one with one skirt and 2 skirtless ones. I think one of them is pantsless technically. There we go. Yay. I'm also not used to drawing like such chiseled abs. I'm actually I'm this is gonna sound like an insane thing to say. I'm generally in the anti-chiseled abs camp, you know, in the anti-chiseled abs party. They look unnatural to me a little bit. I'm going to increase the line width, scale that up just a tiny bit. And just add a little bit more detail to the coat. I want to realign this particular panel. I want to make the pointing finger more emphasized. Sometimes I accidentally have the marquee tool equipped to like a shape tool. And while that's not always optimal, sometimes I take it upon myself to adapt and overcome anyway. Actually, hang on. Can we get a close-up picture of a dang ol' pointy finger? Pointing finger PNG. I'm just reminded, hang on, Plastic Man pointing. Superman. Yeah, it's a chair. That's the one. That's the one. Hang on. Add create new from clipboard. Here we go. Superman is no despot. He's literally sitting on a throne. It's a chair. But yeah, I wanted to have this kind of foreshortening. Let's see. All layouts, what can we get? Hang on. I'm going to... Let's go shopping real quick. What can my... What can my bag of rice ass get from free to modify, share, and use commercially? Emojis. The damn Moogle? Yeah, why we got a Moogle in here? Why we got a freaking Jack Skellington over here? That is not free for copyright, though. This is really funny. When you point your finger at someone, there are 3 fingers pointing back at you. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk coming from some creature who doesn't even visibly have arms. Oh, is this the clockwise mean exactly? Yeah, this is the principle of magnetism or something. All right, I'm going to copy this image. Where was I doing? What was I doing with this? Right, I remember now. Oh, that's a very small PNG. Well, this is kind of a small panel, though, on the other hand. Oh, what? It wasn't a perfect PNG? That thing, Moogle, is it Pikmin or something? Is a Pikmin or something at this point? It's certainly something. I don't know. They keep changing what a Moogle is. It's like... It's kind of like how, you know, nowadays you can call basically anything like a bastard sword or a longsword or anything, and it's probably fine, but like, you know, back then they were like, what? No, a bastard sword and a longsword are 2 different things, dumbass. I don't know, they keep changing what it is. It's like, they keep moving the Moogle posts. This is gonna be such a devious fucking image. Alright, blur it for me so that I don't get too focused on the details. Pause. Did not know that FF12 Moogles are people. Guys. Double pause. What? Hang on, I'm pausing your pause. Let me take a look at these guys. FF12 Moogle. All licenses, please and thank you. Yeah, no, that's just a little guy, though. That's a buddy. That's kind of like, that's looking a little bit like the Who's from Whoville, from from the Grinch starring Jim Carrey. But presumably they've always just been this competent and, you know, animated. You know, it's just that now they're little mouse people. God, I remember, hang on, FF7 Remake Moogle. I remember these guys looking kind of busted. Yeah, just a the one on the right is just... Not a fan. Not a fan at all. Actually, wait. I was looking at my... Hang on. I need to check something real quick. Are my audio settings correct for this? And line. There we go. I just have to check that every now and again. The little snuggly FF16 Moog? Hang on. Oh, yeah, the little guy. Yeah, he's so kind of like... Very cylindrical little bastard. I'm a big fan of that one. I like what that one's got cooking. The other one, not so much. The other one upsets me to some extent. We're definitely gonna want a thicker brush size for this one. Yeah, just hanging out there cozy like. No, bro has no enemies. I could very easily imagine that thing like sipping on a tiny Moogle-sized Akiri or something, and it just chilling with me on a beach. Like maybe it'll come closer to me if I feed it some like one of those Costco mixed chips bags that has like some little pretzels and some cheese puffs in there too. Like the other ones are very clearly like these animal type of creatures. The FF7 Moogle is also an animal, but it has sufficient like human features to be uncanny. Like it just feels like some kind of ugly ass deep sea fish that should not have wandered this far up. And I'm sorry to the Moogles. I'm sure they're perfectly jovial and genial creatures in the game. But they are just a lot to look at. God. That would be a fascinating tier list. Like, who has had the gumption to rank all of the Moogles across every single Final Fantasy game? Should I pull up Tier List Maker and see if somebody has tried to do that? Hang on. Tier List Maker. Continuing to browse our site, yada yada. Okay, that's great. How about Moogle? Top Mogs, Moogles across media, comprehensive. Ooh, baby, you're talking to me the way that I like. 53 of these little bastards. Whew, that's... I mean, that's pretty good, actually. I feel like that is a pretty comprehensive list. Do we have the ones from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in here? We have the ones from Tactics, Q, blah, 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 blah. I'm not seeing the grody little freak. No, wait, there they are. Yeah, there you go. I like that there was a monstrosities tier all set up and ready to go. They knew what I was here for. Shout outs to whoever made this. Who? Hang on. Drive Google folders, comprehensive list, 53 images is a surprising amount. Who made this one? Triforce Fusion. Thank you very much. Pointing and shouting, "Freak! Freak!" God. I don't know. It feels bad, right? It feels bad when you look at a design and you go like freak, 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 because that's somebody likes that. Somebody put time into designing that. It doesn't feel good to do that. That being said, sometimes you aren't born a hater, but sometimes a hater must be. There we go. This does look a little ridiculous. But that's fine. I might actually boost the index finger just a tiny bit to maximize haterness. Or just to make the silhouette a little bit more impactful. Do we think a hater baby is one that refuses to be born, so they have to induce or do a cesarean? That's a toughie. I mean, like, I'm a cesarean baby myself, so I don't I don't consider myself a hater personally. I've had my moments though. But I don't know. I don't know about like true born hater babies. I personally think that hater babies would probably be one of the ones that don't need a cesarean or nothing. They slide out right into the world, ready to fuck shit up a little bit. You know, they're ready for action. They have a smooth delivery, just so that they can get to hating that much faster. A real hater never sleeps, never tires. A real hater is like that one. It's like the whole speech from friggin' The Terminator. I used to think that Caesarion was named that because of how they did that one dude with the knives. But I'm guessing it's probably not because of that, right? That's not why... Hang on. Uses, risks, technology, classification... What was it named after? A popular idea is a Roman statement Julius Caesar was born via Caesarean section and is a namesake of the procedure. But if this is a true etymology, it is based on a misconception. C-sections seem to have been invariably fatal to the mother until recently, and Caesar's mother, Aurelia, not only survived her son's birth, but lived for nearly 50 years afterwards. Way to go, Aurelia! Patu, I spit upon your blouse. Hang on. C-section... Overall increase in poor outcomes, but with low risk pregnancies. Hang on, I might actually not want to have the the pictures pulled up for this one. Etymology, here we go. It's not definitively known though. The lighting on that photo, very dramatic, but you know, I kind of understand it to some extent. Okay, Roman Lex Regia and Lex Caesaria of Numa Pompilius required the child of a mother who had died during childbirth to be cut from her womb. There was a cultural taboo that mothers should not be buried pregnant. That may have reflected a way of saving some fetuses. Okay. Roman practice required a living mother to be in her 10th month of pregnancy before resorting to the procedure, reflecting the knowledge that she could not survive the delivery. It pisses me off that this dude on the right has these fuck-ass shoes. While they're scooping the baby out of the mother over there. That baby looks like a dog. That straight up looks like a child with dog ears and the dog body proportions. Okay. Dripped out for the search. You know it. Okay. The term has also been explained as deriving from the term sedere, to cut, with children delivered this way as sesones. Pliny the Elder refers to a certain Julius Caesar as ab utero seso, cut from the womb, giving this an explanation for the cognomen Caesar, which is then carried by his descendants. Okay. Done in the case of Julius Caesar. Blah, blah, blah. So it's really not known where the term C-section came from, huh? That's quite interesting. Peep the Winkle Pickers. Is that what those kinds of fuck-ass elf shoes are called? That's really funny. That's the that's the grandbaby from the 60s. Sorry, 50s. God. The Winkle Pickers, huh? God, yeah, there we go. A style of shoe or boot worn from the 1950s onward. Especially popular with the British rock and roll fans such as Teddy Boys. The feature that gives both the shoe, boot, and shoe their name is a sharp and pointed long toe, reminiscent of medieval poulains, and approximately the same as long pointed toes on some women's high-fashion shoes. Whew. The roach stompers. God. The poulantine is a type of unisex footwear with extremely long toes, fashionable in Europe at various times in the Middle Ages. The poulain proper was a shoe or boot of soft material whose elongated toe, also known as poulain or pike, frequently required filling to maintain its shape. You need to push. You needed to get Dr. Scholl's push-up soles in order to make sure that your pointy-ass shoes, your fuck-ass elf shoes, stayed pointy. The chief vogue for poulains spread across Europe from medieval Poland in the mid-14th century and spread across Europe, reaching upper-class England with the 1382 marriage of Richard II to Anne of Bohemia and remaining popular throughout most of the 15th century. Sturdier forms were used as overshoes, and the sabatons of the era's armor were often done in poulain style. Guy who heard what they say about big feet, boy, do I have an idea. Poulains seem to have been unhealthy. Archaeological evidence shows that people who wore them were more likely to have bunions and broken toes from falls. So now, not only were you stomping around in these ugly fuck-ass shoes, but you were also getting foot problems from it. Bravo, well played, contemporary fashion of the 15th century. Christ. Oh, God, okay. I thought I was ready for the zoom up on this one, but nope. God, you are just not prepared for it. You think you're ready for it, but you're not. I was just about to say, do you think there was a phenomenon of foot binding to make the feet longer instead of tiny? Fuck with me in these shoes. Check these puppies out. The Holy Roman Emperor wore these in 1485. Fuck. You do some leg stretches in these, you're gonna end up with some poor with your squire fucking stabbed up, down, and around. Oh my, that hurts. That was like a hurtful laugh. Oh God. A surviving pair of sabatons belonging to Maximilian I, Holy Roman Emperor, have extremely long ends for use on horseback, but these are detachable if fighting on foot became necessary. Ah, so that's what this little nubbin is. I see. The catches can be seen over the area of the big toe. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. These are something else. Tomb effigy of Casimir the Great in Poland. Oh, he's got a little dog at the end of him. These ones are kind of sensible, though. Like, these are just kind of slippers. Poulains were periodically condemned by Christian writers of the time as demonic or vain. The Pope himself did not fuck with these shoes. The kings of the era variously taxed them as luxuries, restricted their use to the nobility, or outright banned them. Are you insane? Alright, that's enough of that. God. Clasped in irons and sent to the fucking dungeons for wearing my silly little jester shoes. You are... The medieval times were on some other shit. It is unmistakable. They're not wrong, but I am imagining a monk rocking the Twin Peaks in a decade where they're considered unstylish. The thing is, if they're considered unstylish, and I think that that's not offensive necessarily to the church, I think because they were rather frivolous footwear, that was why they were condemned. So when they became unfashionable, you know, it's like wearing Crocs. People might judge you for it, sure, but it's not a crime. You know, nobody's ever spoken of Crocs as a sort of demonic tool. That might also explain why a lot of demons of this era, right? Why a lot of like more demonic people or depictions from this era might have those little jester shoes. You know, there's the association with jesters and, you know, weird clown from the medieval era, sure, but you know, maybe the shoes are also part of a greater significance for that. I'm actually going to make his laugh a little bit bigger. And the thing is as well, that actually meant that they did the church at the time would have found these shoes to be fairly stylish because they were supposed to be like this idea of luxury or excess. Like this is the equivalent of like putting a tax on Chanel boots for being too fancy. Chanel optics got me seeing shit. Friday with the sandals. I do wonder if some monasteries have the equivalent to like flip-flop Fridays or like, you know, or like casual Fridays. Anyway, I think that'll do it for the line art for this page here. So I guess we can move on to page 3. This friggin' expression. Wait, which... Oh, there I am. There it is. I'm gonna drink some water real quick. Oh, right, I need to blur this thing. Blur, copy paste, and then blur. But yeah, no, I do think that every now and again, right, I get a piece of advice for drawing or for art that it just kind of completely changes the paradigm for me. And genuinely, this whole thing of like blur your sketch layer so that you don't follow it as closely when you're doing the line art, I think like this is the one for the current period in my life. This might just be the greatest expression in this entire comic. Oh yeah, I'll need to make the hair a little bit longer on the back end here. Should I remove the eyebrows? I feel like they add something very powerful to the expression. Maybe I should just shift the hair a little bit further upward. The other day, I have a bunch of images saved on my computer, right? For various purposes. Some of them are for my own amusement, but a lot of a lot of them are for the purposes of art reference. And one of the ones that I found from my external hard drive that I'd forgotten that I had was that there was this style guide published for Mob Psycho 100, for the animation studio to refer back to in when they were like making the anime to keep a consistent style. And something that they mentioned that I had never noticed before is that nobody in that anime has a tongue. Like they have the teeth, but no tongue. And something cool that they also mentioned is that they always made it so that when a spirit was talking, or like when a ghost was talking, the lighting for the ghost was always coming up from underneath, right? So it looked like they were in a horror story. Rage and PNG. Weirdly enough, from around that very same era, around the same time, and I could tell that they were from a similar era because they were very close together in the hard drive. There was that contest between Sans Undertale and friggin' Reagan Arataka, and I don't even remember what the exact context of the contest was, but I do remember it being rather funny. Sans Undertale, drawn accurately in the style of Mob Psycho 100. God. Okay, then curve in the ear over here. Nice. Nice. There we go. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Honestly, that fellow Sans Undertale has been in so much shit. Has he been in Fortnite? I feel like I distinctly remember there being Sans Undertale in Fortnite, but I cannot for the life of me recall the exact model. Like what it looked like or nothing. I feel like Sans Undertale has been in Fortnite, but I cannot for the life of me think that's true. Like I can very clearly picture it, but you know, it's like not there. It's like I know that it's like I know that I'm gaslighting myself into believing that Sans Undertale was in Fortnite at some point. Because I know for a fact that that would have revolutionized every kind of web video imaginable. Can you imagine the power you'd have being able to extract the Sans Undertale model from Fortnite and then just being able to use it for friggin' whatever? I will say, I doubt that the Fortnite version of Miku is going to supplant the original anytime soon. Okay, I fear the line art is getting a little bit too thick, so I'm going to scale it down, especially on the inside part here. Okay, and then over here, bang, bang, bang. I'm going to fact check myself just real quick. Was that a real thing that happened? No, okay, that was not in fact a real thing that happened. Okay, good. I feel like reality checking myself by my recollection of what's been in Fortnite and what hasn't is gonna lead me down a shaky road of mental health one day. Like I'm gonna be out here having the whole plotline of Perfect Blue in my head because I thought that John Wick wasn't in Fortnite when he actually was or some shit. That looks more like a chop than a clap on the back. Maybe if I kind of almost flip this around. Actually, this could work. That looks even more like a chop, though. Hang on. There we go. Okay, and then back here. Yeah, that thumb is fucking me up a little bit. This sure would be easier for me if I decided to buckle up and use a 3D model. But that's not what we're about today. Actually, let's get rid of the thumb, too. Actually, let's redo the whole thing. Let's start from the top. That might be the most convenient solution here. I think that the position of him is also kind of messed up. If I put him a little bit further down. Yeah, just like that. Get rid of these parts here. Cut off this part here. Making a full render from a sketch on the lineart layer, it might be more likely than you think. Free PC check now. Put this lower, put this higher, put over on this direction. I do like the idea that his fingers would be splayed, though. Bam, bam. Bam, bam. Not quite. Let's try that again. Yes. Okay, getting close. Okay, here's the new idea. I like this so far, but it's not perfectly accurate. It's not, it still needs something. It still feels very sketchy for what I want it to be. I think if we expand the hand size just a tiny bit. There we go. And then over here, there we go. Well, you could probably thin out the line on some of these parts here too, just to make it look a little bit more natural. Whew. Light work for one hand. Okay, then over here. Very close, but no. Perfect. Or actually, you know what? May we can have it coming in. The problem is that would mean that the line of action would come through over here. Which is not the vibe that I'm going for. Okay, and then the last one's going to be down here. And we can once again copy this paint expression. No, I do think it would be a better idea to just have a different silhouette here. There we go. I recently had a chance to rewatch the Dracula Flow videos. I got to see a couple of people reacting to those for the first time, and it is kind of magical. Like seeing someone firsthand exposed. I kind of spoiled myself on Dracula Flow because I ended up looking through the Genius lyrics before watching the actual videos because something about the videos was just so deeply unsettling to me that I was like, I do not want to watch these without kind of like knowing what's coming up. And sure enough, that did kind of rob me of the artistic experience, the audacity that was intended through Dracula Flow. But at the same time, I can't be too mad because I did still laugh my ass off. And because of that, it is also kind of refreshing. I recalled some of the lines, but not all of them. Some of them were lost to the sands of my ever-shifting memory. Or to the rice of my ever-shifting memory. I've got a lot of rice up here, and I'm pretty sure it's where I store most of my data. But I could be wrong. Okay, that's going to come in through here, and then... There we go. I think we draw maybe a couple more panels, or maybe one more panel, and then we call it a night. I think that's something else that I want to improve at, is drawing walking poses. I feel like walking is a big challenge for me. In terms of drawing. I can walk normally most of the time. Sometimes my legs asleep or something, and that's when I'll walk abnormally, but most of the time it's just a normal stroll. A healthy gait, even. I take a degree of pride in my own stride. I feel like I have a... And I'm sure everybody thinks this, right? Like, this is definitely one of those things where it's like weirder if you don't think highly of yourself in its regard. I think like I have a fairly good walking speed and candor, but you know, that's I don't know if walking can be fully subjective or objective. I don't think that it's possible to be objective about walking. I'm gonna raise the eyes up just a tiny bit. There we go. What did he even have on this? I kind of wanted to make it similar to that one line from Bloodstained, where it's like, oh yeah, check out this thing Sengetsu sent you. It's a little sketch of him jumping over a chasm. Okay. There we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. I feel like I need to make the line art thicker again, maybe. Or the line width, but the pen width. I feel like I'm using too much pressure just making these normal strokes. God, this character's head shape is one that I really love drawing. There's something just very satisfying about having to make all those little spikes. There we go. And then we just have a little bit... Apologies for going silent there for a second. But yeah, then we just have the jacket and... Yeah, we can just work on the rest of these sleeves. Perfect. Perfect. And similarly, we are going to do the other fingers. And I think I'm going to have him hold the writing implement, the stylus, on the other hand. Okay, then we're just gonna stroke this over here, and then just, I guess, move this entire corner. There we go. I know how to handle this. Perfect. That bend isn't quite going the right way. Come on. Hang on, there's an easier solution for this. There we go. Perfect. Hang on. Maybe I might move this just a little bit. Just like an inch closer. And then just move this just a tiny bit further up. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Perfect. I am trying to think of like really hard of like what I'm trying to communicate in the in this sketchbook here, right? In this tablet. I am thinking that it is just going to be a picture of himself like wrestling a line or something. I don't know, it feels good to make it ridiculous. I think that's going to communicate also more clearly that this guy was absolutely not trying to dunk on Roland when he was like, oh yeah, you've got a funny face. I need a sketch that will very accurately communicate like an air of himbo-ness. Is there, like, hang on. Medieval Hercules. Like, are there any medieval drawings of Hercules? Or, no, it does not seem that way. Okay. What else can we draw in here? God. Okay, yeah, no, I've got an idea. Okay, and then over here. This looks really ridiculous. Perfect. Big old Popeye arms. Yeah, I'm just gonna have him beating up a snake or something. And right behind him is gonna be rolling with a frying pan. There we go. Okay, and then 1 and 2. Yeah, I just want to play around with emphasizing the line art a little bit. It feels much more fluid like this, so I'm having a good time. We'll have to see if it comes up into some issues eventually, but so far I'm having a lot of fun drawing this style. Wait, how long did I make the coat originally? Up to around past his hips, huh? Get out of here, Plastic Man. Okay, and then just sort of this over here. Perfect. All right, the next up we have the frying pan itself. Wait, is this? Yeah, no, wait, I drew this correctly. I'm fine. Okay. Just a little bit longer on the frying pan. And I might actually make the end of it a little bit shorter back here. Just so it's a little bit easier to fathom it being dual-handed wielded. Okay, then over here, we are going to have the actual bottom of the pan. Okay, curve outward like this. Come on. There we go. Perfect. And then we can just add a little divot here. I don't know why some frying pans have that. I don't usually have a lot of juices in my own frying pans. It's very rare that I have a particularly wet dish in there, but I could see it being useful if you need to pour out stew or grease or something like that, actually. Alright then, let's readjust some of the line width here. And then we can just copy this entire layer and place it in this one here. Okay, there we go. I might actually push this bit of the neck a little bit further out. Okay, just adjust the jawline a little bit so it looks a little bit normal. A little bit more normal. Okay, then over here. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put the jawline over here instead. Okay, increase the brush width a little bit once again. Bump that back down to 0.8. And then add the huge, big old Buddha earlobe. You could probably see it from the other side here, too. Okay, and then just draw the hairline here. Actually, I might do the little side bubble somewhere over here. Okay. What kind of shirt did I have him in this panel? Okay, it's kind of like a half-open shirt. Okay. There we go. Can't forget the reflective band on this jacket. I don't doubt that they save lives, but I do wonder to like which jacket would be the least, like what context would be the least helpful to have one of those reflective lights on. Because like let's say you're trying to sneak into a building or something, right? You want to wear like all black clothing so you can blend into the shadows pretty easily. Unless you're going in the daytime, in which case actually just wearing similar stuff to what people you see going in and out of the building might actually be a better bet. But in any case, like let's say you're trying to wear all black clothing just so you can blend into the shadows easily, right? Would you not still benefit from having like a little bit of reflective tape somewhere? Because, you know, just because you're trying to blend into the shadows doesn't mean you can't still get run over when you're trying to cross a road, right? At night. It's especially dangerous at night. That's why you need more. Okay, and then just over here. There we go. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I think we've made a pretty good progress. We're almost all the way through page 3. And I guess the next few parts are going to be the most difficult because they're the most dynamic shots. I might also resize some of these panels. I'll have to think about that soon, though. In any case, thank you to everybody who stopped by for today. Thank you all for the awesome conversation. I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you all on Sunday. Talk to you later. Bye.